Hey, what's going on, guys? Tropical Fish Guy here. Today we're going to add some fish to this last fish tank here. It's kind of sparse. It looks a little bit like I need to give it some love here. So today we went to a good place, Pet Supplies Plus. I like that place right around the corner. They don't have a huge selection, just basically normal big box store stuff. But I need to replenish some easy to find fish, and we'll talk about those here. So in this tank here, it looks like I need to put some more plants in there as well. It's not as planted as this tank here or this tank here, but we do need to. Looks like we're down to 5 neons. But it looks decent. We've got a lot of guppies in this tank. This tank is pretty good. I need to get some Cory cats down there for bottom feeders, but I got some bottom feeders here. I mean, this could be a good amount of fish here if we wanted to leave that, but I think I can put more in there. Got the beta in there. He's really cool. Check him out. Got one lone zebra Dano. They like to be in schools, but this one's doing pretty good. Got a couple of the Tetras there. I forget what they're called, Rio something. This guy here, he's got an interesting story. I got him as a feeder guppy. Obviously he's not a feeder guppy, but he's doing real good. We saved him. Now the story with this was I got some ghost shrimp, and I'm gonna do a video on that. I got some ghost shrimp to add to these tanks here. And just to be, because they're normally docile and stuff, but they turned out not to be ghost shrimp. They turned out to be freshwater prawns, which is wild, because they grew to be like this long, and I had to get rid of them. I gave them back to the pet store. But let's see what we got. We got here some neons. The guy had a tough time grabbing these neons. I wanted the 5 he had. But it looks like we have four neons, and glow light tetras are really cool. I haven't kept these, but I kept these very often. But I saw that they have some really nice glow lights over there, so I had to get me some. And we're gonna float these in the bag for about 15 minutes. To temperature acclimate, make sure that the water temperature of the bag gets even with the water temperature in the tank, so when we release them, and we won't just dump this water into the tank, we'll pour them out into a net and then dump them in there. There's lots of different ways. Some people do pour the water so they don't get stressed from the net, but I like to put as little of the store water in my water just because of disease. But of course the fish themselves have the disease, so there's a lot of different a lot of different philosophies, a lot of different ways to go about it, but I've been doing it that way. And another controversial topic is every time I add new fish, I medicate the tank. So it's been doing good for me. That's the way I do it. My fish have been healthy, but a lot of people don't do it that way. As always, what you'll see here is that I'm just sharing experiences from what have made my fish keeping successful. There's lots of ways to do things, lots of different ways, but we'll see. Anyways, we're gonna let these bags float. Oh wait, I almost forgot. Another one. Okay, I need some. So you'll notice in this tank here, there's some hair algae up there, some green hair algae. And my cherry shrimp back there, he loves that, but I don't want it too much. I could just yank that pre-filter out, those sponge filters out of there, and give them a good cleaning. That would work, but my shrimp would not like that too much. There's another shrimp, if you can see him back there, they love that hair algae, but a little unsightly. So what I've done is I've got one of the best algae eaters. I did a video, and if I can remember, I'll link it up in the description below. But one of the best algae eaters you can get are the auto sinkless, and I did an auto sinkless spotlight. I'll try to link that, but the auto sinkless is a really good algae eater, and really doesn't hurt anybody. It's a very peaceful fish. So I'm going to put one in here and one in here. I've already got one in this tank here, so 1 and 1. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Lift this up, let them float. We're going to do the countdown, and we will come back when it's time. But before we release them, I'll give you a better picture of what they look like. So the auto sinkless, he's looks like that. There's one up there swimming around. He looks real active. That's cool there. So one for this tank, one for this tank. Eating the algae. They're real good algae eaters. But check these out. The glow light tetras. They look nice, and they're stressed out too. Once they get acclimated and they feel comfortable, their colors and their lights seem to be like they're glowing in the dark, but they're not really glowing in the dark. But they're really bright. They're kind of like the neons, that blue streak, except it's orange. So we're going to have a good complement of orange, blue, and red, along with this other colors here. We've got orange on the tetras, of course blue and red on the neons, and then we're going to have a nice splash of more blue and red and some orange. Of course, a big old splash of red with betta fish there. And if you notice, his fins are growing back a lot better. And like I said, those once those supposed ghost shrimp, but really prawns, once they started getting bigger, they started attacking everybody. So I caught him in time, but you know he was pretty beat up. So I'm bringing him back to health. And he killed all my the prawns, killed all my other dwarf, pygmy, cories. So I only have one left. But you know, that's what happens in the industry. You know, sometimes you think you have one thing, but you really have another. But we'll let these float around for a little while and come back. Oh, it looks like we have a snail as well in there, a free snail, yay. But once they're done floating, we'll come right back. Alright, so it's been about 15 minutes. Timer went off, so we'll go ahead and release these fish. What we'll do is we'll take the bucket and the net. And we're going to set that up like that. One person way. Stick the stick the end of the handle of the net through the hole of the bucket. I don't know if that's how you would do it, but that's how I do it. Anyways, let's go ahead and get the fish out. Alright, get these guys out. Alright, sometimes we like to reuse the bag, but looks like they tied it up pretty good. We'll go ahead and untie it. Got tired of trying to untie it, so I just ripped a hole in the bag. And I'm going to pour it into this net here. I'll need 2 hands to do that. But then I'll just scoop the fish into the tank. Alright, so they're nicely they're in the tank now, nicely acclimating. Looks like the neons just found the other neons. They're kind of huddling up a little bit. The Von Rio Tetras are kind of hanging out with the glow lights. There's a couple of the Von Rios right there. The new glow lights are here. They seem to be doing okay. Of course, they're stressed out. But they seem to be, you know, intermingling pretty good. They're not sucking air and hiding in corners or anything like that, so that's always a good sign. I'm going to go ahead and release these auto sinkless. One for this tank, like I said, and one for this tank. Alright, so there's the one auto sinkless. He's comfortable there. I don't know comfortable, but he's hanging there. And then there's the other auto. He's there. They're just hiding, relaxing. You can see that he's breathing pretty hard. This dude is not breathing so hard. So these guys, I mean, it's just been a minute, and these guys are hanging out. The neons, they seem to be just jumping right in with the other ones. They're making a nice little school there. So that's good. Looks like this is going to be a nice, healthy community tank. We'll add some more plants later on. Check it out. I mean, it's only been a minute since we put them in, and the neons are schooling, the glow lights are schooling. Looks like it's pretty good now. What I'm going to do that most people would think is not the right thing, but what I do and what a lot of experienced aquarists do is I am going to medicate immediately. I'm not going to wait for diseases to spring up. I've got a medicine trio that I use. I use the ICX for the parasites and a little bit of the velvet. So it does give a little bit of protection from ick, velvet, and some other diseases that I can't pronounce. But ick is the main problem, parasite. So I treat every tank every time I add something new, as well as for bacterial infections, which is like fin and tail rot, popeye, and dropsy. And as a long-term general cure, this is something that, like the long-term stuff that you all of a sudden, you know, a couple of your fish are dying off and you don't know why. They don't eat. They got some skin flukes, hole in the head, they just waste away. That's what this will be for. So I'll put a link in the description below, or I'll put a link up here somewhere, tropicalfishguide.com/med-trio. These are the medicines that I've found. They don't hurt the fish, they don't hurt the plants, and they don't hurt any shrimps or invertebrates. So it's fine for shrimp, plants, invertebrates. The only thing I would say about this is that it will change the silicone. If you got any silicone tubes or anything like that, it'll turn them blue. Or any suction cups, it'll turn them blue. So if you're worried about that, don't use it. But this is the safest way I found to keep the aquariums nice and healthy, to prevent disease before they attack. Kind of preventative medicine, so to speak. But you know, a lot of people don't do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you want to do it, I found that it's a really good way. And if you do some research, you'll find that it's probably a good idea. I'll go ahead and put that in there. So anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Give me a like and definitely comment. I know there are going to be some people that say, oh, you should never treat your tank before you see illnesses, but whatever I do. Tell me what you think about that. Subscribe, definitely hit the bell notification for future videos. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Happy fish keeping. Peace out.